It's a question that every single one of us at some point in life, we face it head on, and then we're addressed with the issue of how do I answer it? How do I answer this question? And you might be facing it right now. The question is, how can I be happy? What does it take for me to be happy? This is going to be a great episode on the Courageous Nation podcast. It's episode 38. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, I want you to know that you can also watch on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Michael Anthony Official. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, you hit the like button, and you also hit the bell so you get notified every time we upload something new. Today, I'm going to present you with 3 hows, a what, and a who, because each one of those is significant in regard to you experiencing happiness in your life. Listen, a large part of life is dependent, the enjoyment of it is dependent upon whether or not you're happy. And if you're not happy, then it means you're something else. And if you're something other than happy, what's going to happen is you're going to run out of your motivation, you're going to run out of your steam, you're going to get discouraged, and you're going to get stuck. And then you begin to make a cycle of choices which are not healthy. They can affect your mind, your spirit, your body, your relationships, your finances. Everything about you can be negatively affected if you don't get this issue of happiness settled. You've got to get this issue settled. My name is Michael Anthony, and if you're brand new to the Courageous Nation podcast, you can learn more about me at michaelanthonyofficial.com or couragematters.com. Let's jump right in because this topic is vitally important for you. First, let's talk about the first how. Happiness is largely determined by how you spend your time, Every single one of us has 24 hours in the course of a day. And you're going to meet people in the course of your life. Some people are really, really happy. Other people are really, really discouraged. They're very depressed and down. And you might be somewhere in between. Maybe you're on a mountaintop. Maybe you're in a valley. Maybe you're somewhere in between. But the issue is, how are you spending your time? And we're going to talk about some of your other usage of time in just a moment. And by the way, I'm going to leave the best for last when I talk about the who issue. But right here is an important thing for you to nail and to get this right. How you are using your time. You've got free time, you've got work time, you've got play time, and we often forget this in today's world where we've been conditioned. We've all been conditioned whether we like it or not. It's true. We've all been conditioned to think that we don't have the ability to make choices in our own lives. The number one most important decision that you have in your life is how you're going to spend your time day after day after day. And if you look at your life in the course of your life, just as in 7-day stretches of time, just 1 week at a time, it helps you take that whole big elephant of life, right? How do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. It helps you look at that whole big elephant and break it down into bite-sized pieces. Look at your life in 7-day stretches, 7-day increments, and think about how you can plan your time, how you can use your time, how you can strategize your time so that you use it effectively. Because if you don't get this issue of how you use your time down, your downtime in regard to your play and your rest and recreation, what time you're using to invest in hobbies and enjoyment and entertainment, if you don't get that thing down, then life's just going to be like a tsunami for you, and you're going to be swept up and carried away according to what other people's priorities are. So the number one thing that is key to developing happiness in your life is a how, and it comes down to how you're using your time. Number 2, the second how comes down to how you're taking care of your body. And this is a topic that Christians especially don't really understand significantly, and they don't take it seriously because they're so focused on getting a glorified body when they meet Jesus. They're so focused on eternity that they're not any good with their body in the here and now. Listen, if you don't take care of your body will not be able to take care of you. That means you should be concerned not only about cholesterol levels and about fat levels and about your blood pressure, but you should be concerned about whether you're underweight or overweight, and whether you're fit or whether you're not fit, whether you have good muscle tone, whether you don't, because there's also a mind-body connection. How you treat your body and how you exercise or how you don't exercise does come back to affect your mind and your thinking, your ability to focus. Your ability to have a sound mental outlook on life is directly related. There are more and more studies now that prove it to be true. It's directly related to the health of your physical body. So if you neglect your physical body, you're making a decision also to neglect your mental health. You're making a decision to have poor mental health, and that's going to catch up with you in the course of time. But the thing is, you don't have to let it catch up with you in a negative way if you take care of your body, because a large part of your happiness in life comes down to your body image, how you view your body, and how you know whether or not your body is healthy. So if you're not taking care of your body can't take good care of you. It can't take good care of your mental health. When you work out, when you exercise, for example, your body releases natural endorphins, natural opiates, kind of think of it that way, that actually change your mental attitude. This is why for me, when I get up in the morning, typically I get up between 5 and 6 o'clock in the morning. One of the first things that I do, I drink some water to get rehydrated, and I exercise, because I know that everything I do thereafter is going to be affected positively. Listen, positively, it's true, and it's true in your life as well, by my mental outlook, because I did something with my body. When you get your body moving, you get your blood circulating, you get your oxygen going, and you know what else happens? Your body gives you a natural high in your mind. So if you want to change your mental state, if you want to be a more happy person, work on your body. Let's talk about the third how. Number 3, the third thing that's going to have a direct and profound impact on your happiness in life is how you spend, save, invest money. A large chunk of life comes down to your attitude about money and your usage of money. How do you view money? Do you see it as a tool, as a resource for you to move forward and to live the kind of life that you were created to live, to unleash your life? Or do you see money as something that's inherently evil? The Bible does not say that money is the root of all evil. It says that the love of money is the root of all evil. And there are two extremes that people have today. I've seen it firsthand through many years as a pastor, and I've had to recover from healthy, stinking thinking in my own life in this regard. Two extremes. Number one is what's referred to as the prosperity gospel. This idea of name it and claim it, that whatever it is that I want, I can just believe God for it, pray about it, and I have a right to claim it. That's called the prosperity gospel, and it's not in Scripture. Now, follow me on this. The other extreme is the poverty gospel, and that's that God doesn't want to bless me, that asking God for anything that you want or that you need is, when it comes to a material thing, is unspiritual. And as is often the case, the truth is right somewhere in the middle. The Apostle Paul said it this way: if we have food and clothing, we'll be happy. And he talks about that there are some people who think that godliness is a means to financial gain, that if I walk more closely with the Lord, that's going to give me more money. And the Apostle Paul rebukes that kind of stinking thinking. So what is the actual truth? The truth is that money is a tool for you to be able to take care of yourself. Money is a tool for you to be able to take care of your family. Money is a tool for you to be able to bless other people and to be generous. But if you don't have money because you're not getting your money straightened out, you got to get this issue of your money straightened out. You've got to have a healthy attitude about money, because an unhealthy attitude is going to make you an unhappy person. There's a direct correlation to your happiness in life and your attitude, a right, healthy, appropriate attitude about money. If you don't have money, you can't be generous with people, you can't take care of yourself, you can't bless your family, you can't provide for your family. And the Bible actually says if a person does not take care of the material needs of his family, of their own family, that person is worse than an unbeliever. You can check that out for yourself. There's this thing called Google, and you can check what I'm saying for yourself, and you'll see it's right on the money. I'm hitting the nail right on the head here. I want you to understand that how you take care of your body, how you use your time, and how you use your money has everything to do with the degree of happiness you're going to experience in life. So you've got to get this issue of how you use the money that comes your way, that comes into your hands, in a healthy, correct, appropriate way. What kind of attitudes have you had, do you have now, about money that actually might be holding you back from being happy? It's really, really important for you to get this issue settled, to settle it once and for all, and then to walk in the truth about money, about finances, because you just try living your life without money and it's difficult. And you have to determine for yourself, what kind of problems do you want in life? Do you want the kind of problems that come from having a complete lack of money because you have a bad attitude about it and very poor stewardship about it? Do you have a budget? You should have a budget. Are you careful with how you spend your money? Because God has given us, in most instances, more than enough money to take care of the needs that we have and also the wants that we have. That's not an evil thing if those wants are godly, God-honoring wants. That's not an evil thing. But you get into a problem in life when you have a bad attitude about money, bad spending habits, you don't know how to invest, you don't know how to save, and therefore there will come a time in life when you're going to come up dry, when you wouldn't have to come up dry, for one reason only: the fact that you did not manage, you did not steward, you did not care for the money that God brought into your life in an appropriate way. So the three hows are really important to get down, to get into your DNA, and to make sure that you're functioning in a really healthy way. Number one, how you spend your time. Get that down. Become an expert at time management, because time management is life management. Number two, how you take care of your body. If you neglect your body, your body's going to neglect you. Listen to me. Your body is going to neglect you. It's going to have an impact on your cognition, your ability to think, your ability to live as long as you could, as healthy as you could, and that's going to affect your happiness. Number three, how you use your money, how you spend it, how you invest it, how you save it, how you use it, and how you don't. Now, let's look at the fourth thing now. The fourth factor that influences your happiness in life is what you do for a living. What you do for a living. How do you spend that large chunk of your time, 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day, at least 5 days a week when you stop and think about it? You're going to spend the majority of your waking hours. Next to that, the only thing that comes close is your sleeping. And by the way, that has everything to do with your happiness as well, because if you're sleep deprived, it's going to affect your mind. It's going to affect your mind, and it's going to affect your happiness in life. So don't neglect your sleep. But next to the amount of time that you spend sleeping is the amount of time that you're awake and functioning in your career, in your job. Life is too short. Listen, really pay attention to me on this one, because there are many of us. I've done it. Maybe you've done it. Maybe you're doing it right now. We can be in a job because the benefits are great, because the pay is great, and that's the only reason why we're doing it. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a time in life, that there's not a place in life where you should be making a sacrifice to make money so that you can save it up, so that you can invest it, so that you can set yourself up for a good future. I'm not saying that, because there's a place for that, especially when you're younger in life, when you're in your early 20s, mid-20s, even late 20s, your wealth building years, where you're working and getting as much as you can to invest, to save, and to use for that next stage in your life. Very, very important to think about money in that regard. If you're listening in your early 20s, there can be a time in your life where you're making a sacrifice on what you really would want to be doing for the purpose of making as much money as you can, because that's the time to make it. But what you want to be careful of is that you don't, over the long term, become a prostitute and you're now in a job doing something that you can't stand only because of the money and only because of the benefits. It won't be the first time that somebody has allowed a year to become a decade, to become decades, and all you're doing is the job that you're doing because it pays good, pays well, and gives you great benefits. And before you know it, you're going to be looking back over your shoulder and you're going to say, what just happened in my life. I spent the lion's share of the time in my life doing something only for the money. A large, large chunk of your happiness in life will come down to what you're doing for your career. So you should spend time, especially if you're younger. Especially if you're younger, you should spend time investigating and getting familiar with your aptitude, the things that you're good at, the things that you enjoy doing, getting in touch with your passions. If you don't know what your passion is, you need to spend time getting in touch with that. If you're a parent or a guardian, you need to help your children through that process of self-discovery. Think about being the kind of person that you wish that you had in your life when you were younger, so that you could help your children, help those who are under your care excel as quickly as possible, come to terms with what they want to do in life, and get to it as quickly as possible in showing them how to make money doing what they love. You don't want to be somebody who's simply working because you're getting a great paycheck and you're getting great benefits. A large chunk of happiness in life comes down to what you're doing for your career. You don't want to spend time dreaming about it. You want to spend time moving toward your dream, toward the realization of your dream, because a large chunk of your happiness in life, listen to me, a large chunk of your happiness in life is going to come down to what you're doing for your career. You owe it to yourself to be in a career where you not only make money, but you get paid to do what you absolutely love. If you make that your ambition, I guarantee your happiness is going to take off. You might be maybe further along in life, and maybe you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm stuck in my job. I chose a career path. Mike, you're describing me to a T. This is the time right now for you to pivot and to make a change and to make a shift while you still can. To make a pivot, make a shift, make a change while you still can. Believe God. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. With faith, you can please God. Pivot, make a change, and move confidently in that direction. Move confidently in that direction of whatever your dreams are, and trust God. Pray to Him. And don't just pray. Don't just pray. You've got to realize that it often takes a lot more work than you think it does. We've talked about 3 hows, a what, and now I want to talk about who. The fifth and final thing that I want to talk about in this segment, in this episode, that has everything to do with your happiness, comes down to who you marry. Who you marry will have such a profound impact on everything else in your life. In fact, it will eclipse, for better or for worse, everything else in the course of your life. Now, if you're not married, a lot of people spend their time, the grass is always greener, fantasizing about being married. And then they get married, and then they start fantasizing about what it was like when they were single. You've got to be careful that you don't live your life in the future. You should bloom where you're planted. If you're single, then be satisfied as a single person until you're married. If you're a married person, don't sit there and fantasize about the days when you were single or looking forward to the time when you're going to be single again. You should be focusing on being the best spouse that you can be in the meantime, being the best spouse that you can be. And there's no excuse. There are podcasts, there are blogs you can read, there are books that you can read. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do to take captive every thought, to make it obey Christ, make it honor God, and serve you as well. Remember, whenever you have a thought that honors God, it's also going to move you forward as well. There's no excuse today for not becoming and developing into a phenomenal spouse. You owe that to your spouse to be the best spouse that you possibly can be. And with that in mind, you have to understand that who you marry in life is massive. It's huge. It has everything to do with whether or not you're going to be a happy person in the course of your life. So you should not rush into marriage. I used to say it this way when I would counsel people all the time. When I spent years as a pastor, I would tell people, before you're married, you have both eyes wide open. Both eyes wide open. Now, after you're married, you typically have at least one eye closed. Sometimes you have both eyes closed because you don't want to see certain things. You don't want to pay attention to certain things. That's going to help you overcome a lot of shortcomings in the course of your marriage, because you've got two people who are fallen, living outside of Eden in a fallen world, and you've got to be able to extend grace to each other. And a lot of that is overlooking faults, okay? Very important to understand. but a large part, a massive amount, I would go so far as to say 90% of life, happiness in life, will come down to, if you're a married person, marrying a person who is good for you and that you're good for as well. Notice I didn't say marry the right person as if there's just one person you can marry. I believe that you can marry a person and develop into the person that you need to be, and they can develop into the person that they need to be to make that marriage phenomenal and to increase your level of happiness. Remember, it is about being a happy person. If you're not a happy person, you're going to be something other than being happy. And a huge part of your happiness in life will come down to who you marry. So it's not about just getting married. It's about who you marry. Marrying a person who's going to be great for you and a person that you're going to be great for as well. So there you have it, 5 things that are going to help you become a more happy person. I'd love to see what your comments are on my YouTube channel, or if you want to email me at Courage Matters, you can go to the website and email me there. If you want me to speak at your event, I'd be glad to do that. Just go to michaelanthonyofficial.com. I speak at live events all around the country, all around the world. Love to be able to do that for you. And listen, if this has been of a benefit to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell if you're watching on YouTube, of course, so that you get notified anytime I list something new. But listen, we're using texting more and more at the Courageous Nation to notify you of when I release a new video, a new resource that's going to help you. So if you'd like to get notified anytime I drop something new, whether it's a video, whether it's a blog, whether it's an appearance, whether it's a resource, whatever it might be, we'll never harass you. We'll only give you great content. Text the word courage, to this number, 24365. It's that simple. Just think of it this way, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Text the word courage to 24365. That's all it takes. You'll be part of the Courageous Nation. You'll get notified, and you'll be able to move forward with greater and greater ease. Thanks so much for taking some time to watch, taking some time to listen. This is Michael Anthony. In the meantime, reminding you to keep looking up. There's no place else worth looking, and keep moving forward.